Why do you feel like Bitcoin is too good to be true?
It just seems so easy. It just seems so like, take your money, put it in this pot, and watch it grow. There's no effort to it.
I can identify with that feeling because I grew up believing that you needed to take your dollars and do a bunch of smart things with them that other people weren't doing in order to make it up and out of the rat race.
Right.
What we're used to when it comes to making more money with our money is complexity.
Yes.
But then here's Bitcoin that says, all right, step 1, buy Bitcoin.
Step 2, watch it grow.
Welcome to Sat Chats, the Bitcoin podcast where we chat about sats. Sats are the smallest part of a Bitcoin, the same way pennies are the smallest part of a dollar. With Sat Chats, we are building the world's biggest Bitcoin welcome center to serve as your gateway to Generación into the world of you.
Whatever. Keep rolling.
So if you're brand new to Bitcoin, we want to chat about sats with you. Satchats.com to grab your slot in the studio today. I'm going to be your host, Stuart Bitcoin Maxi, who wears prescription sunglasses to protect you and your loved ones from my Bitcoin laser eyes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Pew, pew,
thank
pew.
God for that. And I'm your co-host, Chris, founder and CEO of Ithaca Hummus, proud Bitcoin smash buyer, resident smash buyer. We're giving away 10 million sats over on YouTube. All you have to do to enter is subscribe to our channel, Sat Chats on YouTube. If you're one of the first 100,000 subscribers, you're automatically entered to win 10 million sats, which is over $10,000 in today's money.
Yeah, I mean, it's also called generational wealth. I mean, it's $10,752 right now, but it ain't going to be that much for long. It's going to be a lot more.
It's going to the moon, and we're going to number 99, Kristen. We're on our way there. We've got about 20 episodes left until we reach Stuart's wife, and
Yes.
you'll be treated to an episode of Stuart trying to convince his wife to allow him to buy more Bitcoin.
It's either going to be the most glorious victory through which you can live vicariously or the most excruciating defeat.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
So who do we have in the studio today? We've got, let's see here. We've got number 79, Ashlyn. And how do we spell that?
Ashlin.
Okay. So let's see. So here's number 79 is number 40's mom. So number 79, Ashlyn, is number 40, Anna Bevan's mom, which is almost double.
Yeah. And
Almost, you could have been number 80.
What about what's Keen's number?
Keen,
Oh,
9.
number 8.
8.
Yeah, so now we've had number 8, Keen, who is the dad,
Mm-hmm.
number 40, Anna Bevan, who is the datir, and number 79, Ashlyn, who is the mom, and we're only missing Edmund.
That's right. We need to get him on here.
Yeah.
Let's shame him to be on here.
Yeah, we'll say, wait, what are you doing,
mean?
Edmund?
The whole family.
Why don't you knock it off and go ahead and come on the
That's
show?
right. What, are you too busy for Sat Chats?
You got
Yeah.
time? You got time to fish? You don't have time for Sat Chats?
Yeah,
That's
I
right,
see
that's
you
right.
bringing your boat and taking your boat and leaving your boat, so I know you come around
Yeah,
here.
your priorities are out of order, buddy.
We're gonna bag and tag him the next time he
right.
comes and like drag him
I think
up
you
here and make him talk to us
I
about
think you
Bitcoin.
should. He's got some interesting thoughts. So,
I bet he does, because
Yeah.
is he Anna Bevan's younger brother?
well, 1 year, 1 month, and 2 days.
Wow.
Which is
And 1
insane.
hour.
That's
crazy.
right?
almost Irish twin mode.
Almost Irish twins. That's right.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
That's a lot of calcium depletion right there
I
for
know.
you. Well, we're really close to collecting your entire nuclear family.
That's right. It's going to happen.
My sister is coming tomorrow.
Yay.
So we're actually going to collect my entire nuclear family first. So we're getting close to collecting your whole family,
That's
which
right.
is outstanding.
That's right.
And your husband was the bomb, and he
Yeah.
stacked the sats.
He's pretty smart.
So your daughter also stacked the sats. Your husband already had sats coming into the show.
He did.
So I guess technically, does that mean you also have Bitcoin? Would you consider yourself a Bitcoiner since, your husband has gotten exposure for your family?
No, because he does his thing. I do my thing.
Mhm.
And, we come together when we need to on that kind of thing. But I've been here for the ride. So for the start of it all, what are y'all doing? space stuff, you know. But I told you when we first talked about it is, or maybe it was you. I was talking about George Jetson and his. Those of you who remember George Jetson and his TV, and his boss would call him in the middle of the wrong time, and he would always have to make up a reason why he was not doing his work or something. And everybody's like, why would your boss ever call you at work to see him, you know? And you're like, nobody's ever going to do that. And then Dick Tracy had his watch where you could see his face and everything. And so my whole thought was, people thought that was never going to be a thing, because who would ever want to do that? Why would it ever be? And then you go, but now it is. And it's like there are people living that never knew we didn't have it.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe Bitcoin is like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we didn't ever have the World Wide Web. I mean, we used to have to go to the library. You were talking about that earlier. We'd go to the library and study and go find a book and open it up and smell it and all the things. Now you just, hey, Google. Now it's, hey, what's the guy that tells you everything? Chappie. Yeah. Now that guy's going to, or whoever that is going to tell you. Of course, you've got to check him. But it's just also, everything grows. So I guess you have to have an open mind to think that, what do you call it? Fiat currency?
Yeah.
Is not all there is. It just is amazing because it's just like air to me. It's like air in the sky, and it's going to mean something. And but who saw an email could go from one person's computer to someone else across the country within seconds? And you're like, okay, I can read what you just said. And it's crazy.
Eventually, I think fiat's going to join the Dewey Decimal System. And
the Dewey Decimal. Poor Dewey.
The good
old ways.
Yeah.
Rotary dial.
Letters,
Rotary dial.
Oh, man.
Horse and buggy.
Yeah.
Pony Express.
Yeah.
We could sit here and name all those things. I wasn't alive during some of that, but I do remember a rotary dial.
Yeah.
But I'm in it. I will say this. My grandson turned 2 yesterday. And typically for grandchildren, he's my first one. But my parents sort of started this little tradition. But he doesn't know if I gave him a present or not. I mean, he doesn't. I could give him a piece of paper and he would be excited by that. But until they actually know that, you know, Gigi and Papa G didn't give him presents, we give them money. Well, this year I gave the option.
Yeah.
I said, you may have, you know, his birthday number with some zeros behind it for your birthday to put in the bank. I told his dad, I'm talking to his dad, or you can have the equivalent in sats.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
And
what did Edmund choose?
He chose that because
He chose the Bitcoin?
Yeah. I had Anna Bevan do a little sidebar research for me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, so if he took the money now and in 10 years, what would it be? Because he would be 12 years old. Thank you. That was easy math. Oh boy. And then how much would it be worth in sats based on the trend?
Yeah.
Or how much would the money be worth? And the money would be worth half plus. But the sats was like buy a house.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, and that was conservative. And she was like, this is conservative. This is like, if you're really out there. So I was like, and Emmett's like, what? And I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
So they were very excited about it. And so I said, well, let's just do it. I mean, you're not going to lose anything.
No.
Because it's not all of our money. It's just that little portion. And so next year I'll do it for when he's 3. And then when he's 4, usually back when they turn about 5 or 6 is when they start to know we didn't give them anything significant for their birthday. So it's, you know, we're going to build up some little generational wealth for the boy.
Yeah.
By the, you know, Monday, you know, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, seeing how it goes. So that when he turns 18, 20, either his college, which might be obsolete by then, he could be paid for, or he could buy a house, or he could do whatever he wants with his money. So that would be our way of giving him generational wealth.
Wow.
So Chris and I have 3 years to convince your grandson that he actually does want that to continue.
Yeah.
You don't want a plastic toy, my son.
No, that's right. Exactly.
Let Gigi keep ripping on the sats
that's
for
right.
you.
Let me do
okay?
that. Yeah. Let me keep giving you money.
Plastic toy now, unlimited plastic toy later. Which one do you want, bud? What's his name? Fort?
Fort.
F-O-R-T?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, his real name is Edmund Keene Gravely the Fourth.
Yeah.
And so they play on fourth is Fort.
Very cool. Very cool.
This dude's gonna be the man.
He is the man.
So your hubs, number 8 Keen, who's gonna be coming back
Soon.
not so long from now, which is starting to blow my mind that people are gonna be coming back.
I know, that's crazy.
He has adopted Bitcoin for your family, but you don't yet identify as a Bitcoiner. So
no, but
you basically
but you
are,
feel
though.
open
I mean,
to
you're
it.
giving.
I am open to it because I've given it away.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
giving
giving
it, so
Bitcoin
it's
as a
like
gift.
freaking amazing. Yeah, like I
That's
think
like
you might
leap
actually be a
frogging.
Bitcoiner already.
Yeah.
And I like your point too. I mean, I don't want to gloss over the fact that what you're trying to say is, as someone who is coming to Bitcoin for the first time, and basically realizing, as someone, I think Richard Puente said in the comments, it's everything you don't understand about computers plus everything you don't understand about economics.
Yeah.
Combined, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For you to come at that and try to develop a framework where you can start to use it and benefit from it without fully understanding it is in this George Jetson, Dick Tracy space where on the silver screen were so many futuristic, imaginary breakthroughs that everyone thought was really interesting at the time, but not possible. And then here we are working remotely. On video screens.
Exactly.
With watches that can make phone calls.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, you had to take yours off so it wouldn't make a phone call while he's in here. So, yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, if those things could come true, can this like money of the future come true as well?
Right. I'm waiting for the car that can fly up and go over the traffic on 95 or 64.
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting for that, but I think that might be a little dangerous because not everyone in the other cars know how to fly. So.
Well, hopefully it's all self-flying. Self-flying cars. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Self-flying cars. You heard it. Probably not here first.
No,
I'm sure
probably not.
I did see a guy strap 4 drones together and stand on top of them and basically surf through the air.
Oh my gosh.
Which was insane.
That is
so
insane. Don't you remember, what's his name? The Rocket?
Yeah. Dude, the Rocketeer. The Rocketeer was such a good movie.
That was so cool. I love that
I've wanted a jetpack since forever.
Yeah. They're real. People have them.
People have
jetpacks? Mm-hmm. But his was a cool one.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah. I mean, I want the Iron Man suit. I want to have the Iron Man suit. You know what I mean? I just want to be like, I just wanted to come around me and just.
So Anna Bevan wants his big screen where everything comes to it and then he goes whoosh.
Yes.
Whoosh, whoosh,
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Takes it all down. That's what she wants. She's like, she always says, picture Iron Man and the big screen. And then you're like doing this business.
And then he crumples up a digital piece of paper and throws it in a digital basketball hoop, and it gives him 100 points. Yeah. You remember that sequence? So that type of like 3D interactive interface, that's going to be real.
It is.
It
kind of almost is.
And him having artificial intelligence in his ear at all times, we're kind of already there as well. We're not at the level of Jarvis, but Chappie's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, to your point, it's like, hey, the future, just because it's hard to wrap your head around sometimes doesn't mean that it's coming. Doesn't mean that it's not coming. Doesn't mean that it ain't already happening.
Yeah. Right.
And can you imagine if you went back in time, Ashlyn, to the birth of the internet, not like the proper like
80s,
not that like government communication, but like in the 90s when AOL hits the marketplace, right? And people are starting to go online. They're starting to make web pages. You remember back, it was really cool to have like a website counter that's like 100,000 people have come to this website.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being in that moment and saying, this isn't going to take off?
That's right. It's not going to take off.
I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah,
this thing is not real. I can't see it. I can't touch it. It's probably a scam. I'm going to go ahead and stick to my landline and the white pages and yellow pages,
Right.
along with the Encyclopedia Britannica down at the library. Like, where would you be today if you had not adopted the internet?
Well, probably not as smart. It's just get on board or watch the parade go by.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
And some things you have to discern, is it good or is it right or is it going to hurt you later? But most of the time, I mean, things like this, no, I mean, I'm not going to dump all my money into this, because as my father was a very, he was a stockbroker. He was very good with finances, very financially intelligent man. And he would always say, don't put anything in the stock market that you really don't want to lose. So everything, we put things in the money market or the funds, the fiduciaries, all the other funds that are, I guess, safer than would be the up and down of the stock market. So I always kind of, in the back of my mind, how much am I willing to lose? So none is the answer, because younger, maybe a little bit, because I was younger, because I looked ahead toward how much more job time I had, but now not so much. So basically all my money's under my mattress. Or stuck somewhere where I can get a high yield in a bank. Which sometimes you're like, I remember doing that. I was like I just moved some money around. I was like, now you're safe, right? Nothing's going to happen to you, because this is when all those banks were closing. And you're like, what if that were my bank? And how much am I guaranteed to get back? Well, not all you have is, you can't get all of it back. They only insure it for a certain amount. So it's like, oh, please don't go bad. But
so what's your approach to Bitcoin today then? If you're talking about, only putting in what you're willing to lose, I'm also kind of hearing you're talking about like diversifying into a couple different areas, but you also have like a lower tolerance for risk.
I do,
because of where you are in your journey. So what's your approach to Bitcoin, if at all?
I will probably buy some. I will probably do it I may do as much as I give for it, and we can play the game together.
That's fun.
To see what we're doing. And then I know I will, because it's almost like it's too good to be true.
It does seem that way.
And that's the question I have. If it's so good to be true, or too good to be true, when is the bottom going to, like, how the .com world sort of crashed? What's going to happen here? I mean, is it going to crash? I know you have the answer. So you're like, laser eyes are coming at me. I feel them. They're burning me. They're burning me.
It's hot in here because of my eyeballs.
It's hot up in here now.
It's hot up in here. We're in Keen's dad's tobacco hut in Eastern North Carolina right now.
I was thinking about that earlier.
Yeah.
So number one episode of this show is Bitcoin Too Good to Be True. Crushed it. We're done. That's gonna slap online. All right. Let's dig into that, and let's make that the question for this episode.
Okay.
Great.
So why do you feel like Bitcoin is too good to be true?
It just seems so easy. It just seems so like, take your money, put it in this pot, and watch it grow. It just, there's no effort to it. There's trust. All it is trust. You're just basically trusting this, which you can't understand. And I mean, you can, but I can't. But it's a lot of blind trust. But then I'm assuming when the gold diggers and the people who had all the gold put their gold in the bank in Carson City, Nevada, after they mined it all, they had to trust that they were going to give them the right value for their gold. So it's another opportunity to trust people who don't know as much as you do.
Okay. So it feels too good to be true. First of all, the first thing I heard is because it's just so dang simple.
Yeah, it's so simple.
And I can identify with that feeling, because I grew up believing that you needed to take your dollars and do a bunch of smart things with them that other people weren't doing in order to make it up and out of the rat race into the world of people who were wealthy enough to not have to worry about that so much anymore.
Right.
And that kind of came in the form of Robert T. Kiyosaki, peeling back the curtain on how to get multiple real estate properties generating passive income for you. And
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Know that guy.
So I can identify with how you feel around the simplicity, because there's two things going on here. One, we've learned to buy real estate.
Yes.
We've learned to buy stocks and or bonds and or mutual funds.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the limit. It's almost like buying gold over the past 50, 70 years. It's kind of like, been the Bitcoiner has been the gold bug.
Yeah.
Who's like, nah, dude, gold, dude, get gold, buy gold every week.
Yeah. Silver, gold, never.
Right. They're gold bugs, and they're kind of like the analog Bitcoiner.
Yeah.
But the purchasing of real estate requires, when I bought my house, I became increasingly more angry through the process, because it required me to trust more and more people I didn't know to do the right thing for me at the right time.
Yeah.
Like who?
Well, you had to trust a real estate agent to guide you to a home that fit your needs and wasn't just them telling you it was going to be good, but kind of jamming it in there because they want the commission.
Right.
You have to trust the legal parties on either side for the negotiation, and to go downtown and record it with the city of Raleigh. There's also an inspector who comes in, and you have to trust that he's not just glancing over this sucker to say, yeah, it matches the price you're asking for it. He's actually looking for problems. There's just more and more people that you have to trust, right?
Okay.
And then with stocks and bonds, okay, let me go get an online brokerage. I mean, my granddad, Granta, he had a big book, and he would take the prices out of the newspaper each day and say,
I remember those.
And he was literally recording the prices from the newspaper into his book to then call a dude.
Yeah.
To manually call a dude to sell it on the actual freaking stock market, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So what we're used to when it comes to making more money with our money is complexity.
Yes. We are used to that.
And every single instance of someone saying, hey, I got a get rich quick scheme for you, bro.
Yeah.
All you do is give me some of your money, and then magically more money appears as a result.
Because I went to I either gambled it and tried to match it, or I didn't. And sorry about that. That happens.
Yes. Yeah. So all the simple options turn out to be not true.
Right.
But then here's Bitcoin that says, all right, step 1, buy Bitcoin.
Step 2, watch it grow.
That's it. Or maybe step 2, buy more Bitcoin. It's so simple.
Triple it.
You just take this. You just take the Dick Tracy money and you turn it into George Jetson money, and that's it. You're done. You take the 1950s Detective Gumshoe cash and you just go over here with George Jetson, the flying cars. And by the way, the dog had a treadmill outside the home, and there was no protective railing whatsoever.
Right. Pluto, wasn't that the dog's name?
Pluto? I can't remember. I just remember
had that little collar that was around him that looked like Saturn.
Yeah, I remember that the teenage girl had shock white hair, and I was like, "What is going on here?" But if he messed up, he's dead, dude. Yeah, he's dead. They weren't. Treadmill off the side of the house,
George.
Yeah. So it's so simple that we have a hard time trusting it.
It is. I do. So I want to go back to the real estate part, because I have a friend who he buys lots of land. He's a hunter. Land is his thing. And he says, God, don't make no more dirt. The dirt is here. There's no more of it. So I do know that Bitcoin ends.
Yes.
There'll be no more of it.
Yes.
Yep.
So you get it while you can. Because again, there'll be no more. Just like dirt, dirt never goes away. So the dirt doesn't go away, but you pay the taxes on the dirt and all the things like that. Question about is the state going to come in and try to? I know they're trying to now figure out how are we going to regulate this event that's happened outside of our control. How are we going to be able to manipulate it or make money off of it or put guardrails around it, regulate it, or whatever? Is that going to change the fun of it? Because now you've got to report it, but I also know you have your seed phrase, and they're never going to know how much money you have.
Yeah.
So,
is this like secret squirrel stuff? We should
No.
No, we live our lives out in the open, and on the one hand, they do regulate it now along the lines of any asset.
Yeah.
So that's not so scary.
No, you're right.
They might try in the future to regulate it some more when they realize that it's the freaking best and they want some of it for themselves.
Right.
But in today's political climate, it seems like they're actually trying to make things a little bit easier. And more friendlier.
Right.
So I don't really see any reason not to go out there and stack as many sats as I possibly can. Because when it does run out, then it simply becomes a matter of exchanging it between one another. And the more I have, the more I can exchange it with people who have things of value in the real world that I want, that want some Bitcoin for themselves. And I can accumulate real world goods and services in exchange for my Bitcoin, which could then help power more of my life, right? So I want to have as much as I can. And as, and I guess over here, Ashlyn, is this idea of try me.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is that I don't know what they could do to regulate it more than they are now. I mean, right now you pay capital gains tax when you sell Bitcoin if you have a gain. Just like any other asset that you would sell, you pay, you know, depending on how long you've held it. 25% maybe of the proceeds of that sale you pay in tax. Now,
but you don't, okay, quick question. You don't, like if you transfer your Bitcoin to say money to pay for something, or like you pay it off, you pay your credit card with your Bitcoin or something. Because it's funny how you hear the word Bitcoin and now all you hear is the word Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because on TV, everywhere I go, I'm like seeing the B and I'm like, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention.
Yeah.
You're going to get lost. And that's kind of where I am. So I guess when you use it for goods and services, it's just like money, you know?
Well, if you can directly pay someone in Bitcoin or receive Bitcoin in exchange for something, it's a lot harder for them to tax in that case.
Because nothing's being sold. No asset is being...
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
It's money for a good.
Now, Megan, I think number 67, Megan, as an accountant, thought that there, you know, she was pointing out that there might even be some trickiness there. But from what I can tell, you pay a tax when you convert your Bitcoin
to
back
dollars.
into dollars.
To dollars or to other currency.
You do you get a capital gain or a capital loss. So if you can stay inside this value network, shout out Jamar, then things are simply circulating here and you're not touching this thing over here, which is incredibly powerful and amazing.
Now, the other thing, though, is I was just in Puerto Rico. Guess what they don't have in Puerto Rico?
Bitcoin.
No. They have Bitcoin, but they don't have capital gains tax.
They do have Bitcoin because I saw it on did I see it on the conference? Was there a guy from...
you might be thinking of El Salvador.
And El Salvador and Panama was trying to do it. I remember watching that.
Yeah.
And by the way, places that want to do well for themselves are going to start making Bitcoin friendly laws and regulations so that Bitcoiners go where they are, and Bitcoiners are going to be resilient in the future. And so, do you want a bunch of rich dudes living in your country? Yes or no, right? But right now it's classified in a way that is a little awkward because if we go simple Steve style and we put our month's expenses on a credit card, hopefully that's earning rewards in the form of Satoshis. That's elite. And it's time to pay that off. You know, let's say that the credit card bill is $75. Well, then I need to sell $100 of Bitcoin to pay $25 in taxes to pay $75 in cost. That's
not so great.
Which doesn't feel great, except for I actually bought that $100 for $10. So my $75 bill only cost me $10.
As long as your cost basis is low enough, that can be true. But you need to be in Bitcoin for a certain amount of time for that to start making sense.
But once it makes sense, it makes a whole lot of sense.
Well, I'm guessing if I go along with Fort and we do this together, then his Bitcoin
eventually
will be that way as well.
100%.
Or the other option he will have at that point in time is to use his Bitcoin as collateral and go get loans and stake his Bitcoin as collateral for the loan.
I'm guessing because 10 years from now, I mean, if it's going to happen, it should happen now.
Yeah.
And we should everyone should know this is going to be the thing. But I don't think it will take away from fiat currency. I think we'll always have that. Though I know the whole issue with that is we are just printing paper right and left. And, it really has zero value. So.
Producer Jeremy's going to 10x the volume so that we actually grab that.
Yeah.
But there is a third option here, which is that the nation state will finally recognize that Bitcoin is money and that it doesn't make any sense to pay a tax on having money.
Yeah.
It would be like having euros, $100 worth of euros, and then simply by converting it into US dollars, you got to pay $25. Where it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
I'm just exchanging one money for another, and any kind of transaction fee that is associated with that, sure, no problem. But they're basically taxing us simply for having a form of money they don't control.
Right.
And that's going to change eventually, right? Or we're going to be, see you later.
Right.
We're going to be going to Puerto Rico.
I can't wait, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing sat chats from
snow.
Puerto Rico.
Snow.
Oh, yeah. But
Great surfing.
Okay.
Well, I'll fly to the Rockies or something.
There we go. All
yeah, because I love me some snow.
No problem. No problem.
But something's going to give. But between now and then, Bitcoin goes up in silly dollar terms so much every year that the 25% gains hit doesn't even eat into your actual gains.
Yeah.
And as long as you can mentally wrap around the fact that you're starting here, making this much, selling off this much, taking a hit, and then paying that, and then the remaining amount grows to refill what you're going to be like, we're good.
And I think what the U.S. government at least is starting to realize with this crypto-friendly administration that we have now
is kryptonite, 9 sats,
Bitcoin friendly. I will say wholly they are a Bitcoin friendly administration. But what they're starting to realize is the path to more influence and profit off of Bitcoin in the future is not to tax it.
Right.
It's to just buy more. It's just to buy it. Just
buy
it, Bitcoin.
Just buy it.
Yeah. And then when they do that, which they're planning to do, the value of our Bitcoin goes up as a result.
I always find it interesting that people don't like people to have money. Because I think what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
I mean, I love rich people.
Yeah.
You're saying like the most recent culture is like when people like people don't like Jeffrey Bezos, for example, or Elon Musk because they're just too dang rich.
I don't care. They worked for their money and they did what they wanted to do with it, and I don't care.
Created value.
Well, created value because without them, I used to work for a very, very, very wealthy man, and he was generous and kind and employed a ton of people, and I'm thinking. And then some people would kind of go, well, he went there and did that. And I'm like, good for him.
Yeah.
You still have a job, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can save your money and go there and do that. I mean, it's like, there's just, I don't mind that I myself would like a little more money. I would like to give it away. I'd like to help people, get up off the where they are and a little something to help them push them along. So, and I do think, if it is this easy and you've got $20, buy sats every time you can. Like if don't go buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Go buy sats.
Yeah.
And here's why it is this easy. Here's why it is. I mean, it's not too good to be true. Okay.
Yeah.
And here's why. It's because it's a form of money that is engineered to be scarce. And no matter what you do, you cannot add to it. And unlike fiat, which as they add to it, it becomes less and less valuable. With Bitcoin, as you lose Bitcoin, because you've thrown away your laptop with 400 coins on it, like number 27 Adam, the remaining amount becomes more valuable.
Yeah.
So it's this like upside down mirror where fiat is this much, and as they add more, it becomes worthless.
Right.
Bitcoin is this much, and as you lose Bitcoin, it becomes more valuable. It's this crazy system.
Commodity.
It's so simple, though. It's so simple.
It is simple.
It's really simple.
Which is kind of the whole mind-blowing.
Yeah.
How can something this good be right and so simple?
Yeah.
But it just, I guess, what's his name? Mr. Satoshi?
Yeah. Mr. Satoshi.
It's time to let's cut down and make something easy.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So, and to your point too, I guess, I don't know how many people actually dislike capitalism. You know, they get angry with Jeffrey Bezos or Elon Musk because they've made so much money, and it's like, why don't you share some of that with us? And it's like, actually, I think you should take a closer look at the money, not the person who made a bunch of it, the money. Because if everyone used Bitcoin, then no matter how much you made, you could set some aside and have that grow and increase in purchasing power. And basically your efforts, no matter how small, no matter what your skill set, even if you're an hourly worker, right? You could have your efforts add up over time.
Yeah.
But the problem with the current system is that you kind of need to reach a certain minimum bar before your efforts can be driven into assets that will start to mean something over time.
Right.
And if you're below that, you're just kind of in this hamster wheel of death, trying to make a solid foundation out of quicksand. I think most people, if they could feel like they got a fair shake, and then didn't do all the work that these guys did, didn't come up with the idea that these guys did, they would be more at peace with, well, I mean, that guy worked his butt off.
Yeah.
I think what they're actually experiencing is like contempt toward the money that is lubricating this system. So love the conversation. And, you know, there's so much to Bitcoin that we're not going to be able to fit it all into a single chat about sats.
Well, that's why you watch the shows.
Yeah.
yes.
So, so let's recap the conversation with Ashlyn here. Ashlyn is number 8 Keen's wife, number 40 Anna Bevan's mom,
right? And
the as yet unassigned number Edmund's mom as well.
Exactly.
We're already going to pre-book Ashlyn's grandson Fort.
Yes.
We're going to wait for him to be able to communicate using English.
Right.
But then we're going to bring him on.
Yes.
We're going to get him in here real early. So you and number 8 have got some Bitcoin, but you didn't quite identify as a Bitcoiner at the start of the show. Do you identify as a Bitcoiner now?
I think if I would be lying if I said I didn't.
Yeah.
You're gifting Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'm giving it away, so why not be one?
You're in the network.
I mean, that would be like a poser.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm taking my hard-earned money and turning it into Bitcoin for my grandchild. So I'm a Bitcoiner.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
All right.
So we talked today about how your initial exposure to Bitcoin was likely through us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I can remember being down in the kitchen where you know, I was like, you should come on the show. And you're like, I don't know about that, but I do know crypto is kryptonite. And I took that from you. And we have to pay Ashlyn 9 sats every time I use that. Crypto is kryptonite. Sats. Yeah.
Okay.
I just said, you know, because
we're gonna use our database to pull that information periodically, and but we're gonna have to get you set up on the Lightning Network for that level of transaction.
I trust you.
Now you talked about basically being able to suspend some of your disbelief long enough to start using it and learning about it by thinking about it in George Jetson terms, in Dick Tracy terms. I really like that approach where you say, you know what? So many things we didn't think could be possible are not only possible, but they're here now.
They're here now.
We also talked about how you are now gifting sats to your grandson, Fort, which is elite, and how you had Anna Bevan run some numbers. And it's like, man, gifting fiat is dumb.
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
You're just handing some melting ice cubes to your grandson. Like, hope this pays for anything at all in the future.
Well, it just was ridiculous. It was like What?
Yeah.
That's how much it grows? No, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. So I love that my dad is paying my son sats in exchange for chores around the house.
Nice.
I love that you're setting aside sats for your grandkid, and
That
like
it's
making me
Thank you.
It's making me feel good about the people who are learning now, kind of just making it a matter of fact for the incoming generation. Like, we won't even necessarily need to like help them understand that Bitcoin is money. They're just going to know it.
Yeah.
So we talked about you setting up your grandson with generational wealth. And really we hit on a great question today, which is Bitcoin too good to be true? And one of the reasons why so many people feel like it's too good to be true is because it's so simple. How can it possibly be that simple?
Right.
And simple pathways to wealth in the past that were presented to us were just not true. I mean, I keep thinking about the guy who had commercials back in the day where he'd be on like the steps of Capitol Hill in a suit covered in question marks.
I do remember him.
And he was like, the government's just giving away money. Right. He's like, you just have to buy my book to show you how to get all these redemption. You know what I mean? Like, whoa. So, you know, Bitcoin is so good though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not too good to be true. It's just good.
Yeah.
It's limited. It only gets more valuable as people lose them. It only gets more valuable over time. It can't be printed. It can't be corrupted. You can use it anywhere, anytime. Like, it's just the best. So, and then I think we talked a little bit about like, well, what if the government realizes that it is super important, you know, and they're going to, we don't know. I mean, they made it illegal to hold gold about 100 years ago. So there might be a period where we have to be like, we don't got any, bud, you know, and you come out the other side.
This Bitcoin you speak of, I know nothing about it.
Never heard of it.
What is that?
Never heard of it.
Bitcoin? You're like trying to read, you're like, beat the key. I don't know. Personally, I love dollars, but so anyway, thanks so much, officer. So, you know, we don't know what's coming, but I know that every sat counts and we need to get it now.
Yeah.
So we are going to see if you want to get some now.
I do. Am I ants too
Man,
soon?
y'all jumping, dude. Jamar jumping. Ashlyn jumping.
I should have.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
We're gonna add that to our time, our number of times that people are just like, dude, give it to me. But first we're gonna get a little bit of this right here.
Oh yeah, I love that kind.
So, Chris, what do we have here, my friend?
This is our from our sponsor, Ithaca Hummus, which you can find here in Raleigh, just about everywhere.
Just about everywhere.
Whole Foods, Wegmans, Publix, Harris Teeter.
My fridge.
My fridge.
My fridge.
Yeah. This is our lemon and dill flavor. So let's
cheers.
have a little bite here.
Oh, let's put some That's so good. Oh my god, I want to double dip.
Very good. Wait, it's your hummus. You're taking it home.
Oh yay!
Bursting with dill flavor.
Oh, and lemon.
So good. So I'm gonna calculate what $50 in Bitcoin is worth. So you can have a number here. So
while he's doing that, let me get. Have you tried that flavor before?
This? Yes, this is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
And then I love the actually the other night I had black bean. I did chips and then I put black bean on it.
Yeah.
And then I put dumped your salsa on it. And that was my dinner.
Oh wow. Oh.
It was Trey good.
Wow.
Trey good.
And then next time if I have avocado, I would put that on there too.
Yes.
Now, did you know about Ithaca before the show, or did the show introduce you to Ithaca?
The show introduced me to Ithaca.
Yeah, boy. Do you buy any other hummus besides this now?
Never again.
Let us absolutely go. Never again. Once you see Ithaca, you can't unsee it. Same with Bitcoin. So Ithaca hummus, buy the dip.
All right. So value for value, you got $50, 46,476 sats.
Wow. That number even makes me think I'm rich.
Yeah.
All right.
That's generational wealth right there.
I'm right there with you right there.
Let's go. High five. Ashlyn, let's go. High five. So happy.
Woo.
See you later, Mr. Grant.
That's right.
So you bring our scoreboard to 73 who have
Yay.
stacked the sats. Cool. Along with 6 who have chosen the cash.
Because they just don't know. They're not enlightened yet.
Correct. Now, I'm actually out a little bit ahead now. I'm in the 70s, and I'm not yet at the 7, which I'm happy about. So this is the part in the show where we ask you, Satillionaires, for your value in exchange for ours. What do we value? YouTube subscription.
And watch hours.
We are going to get to 100,000 subscribers. When we do, we're going to gift someone 10 million sats. All you got to do is subscribe for your chance to win. Not 46,000 sats like number 79 Ashlyn just stacked. Not 1 million sats like number 6 Michael won in the last giveaway. 10 million. Okay? Not sure how to help you understand how much that is, except for to encourage you to continue watching the show until you get it.
That's right.
We'll also take your watch hours so that we can unlock a membership area where you can see raw tape early and potentially some stuff that's just too Bitcoiner mode for the regular channel. We'll see. We're on the road to number 99. Kristen, my wife, the beloved, wish me luck. Sat Chats is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. Also, our guests' views are their own. Thank you.
See you on the next one.
It was great. Had a good time.
Yeah.